Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson Media, and we are here with our good friend Omaso. He just left briefly, but he's coming back, and we will be discussing about issues here. Omaso is a good friend, and he also aspiring to run for a member of parliament. So we will get some good discussion here. If you're there for the very first time, you can subscribe to Brother Benson Media, and also, we are streaming live in Kikao na Sauti. You can also get us on Facebook. There's so much going on in the country right now. Yesterday, we saw the ODM members actually had a presser, and they gave their accounts concerning, especially in the events that unfolded in Homa Bay. Okay, I'm seeing my friend. Hey, brother, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Hey, habari gani?
Sisi tuko salama ama ni
habari.
njema.
Uko salama. Habari ya masiku tunasema masiku.
Hii ni miaka bro.
Ni miaka bana, unajua venye miaka imeenda.
Hii ni miaka. We last met when we were trying to figure out life as young people.
Yes, I can remember when we were in college, remember?
Yes.
Kitabu
kidogo. Hustle kidogo, trying to mix the things.
Yes.
Pretty young people, ndevu ilikuwa ijamea kwako. But here we are now.
Here we are. Like sometimes I do tell this majority of my audience. I was a teacher by profession.
Yes.
At some point, I came back and worked in real estate. Ukisikia kuhustle, tumehustle bana.
Yes.
Anyway, how are you doing?
Yes, hustle. I'm doing fine. We thank God where we are. We are serial optimists, prisoners of hope.
Hope, yep.
And we are also cognizant of objective realities around us.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much. There's so much that is going on in the country, especially in terms of leadership. There are so many questions that people are raising, and even we are headed toward 2027 general election, and some people are not hopeful. Majority of people are hopeful. Maybe from where you sit, what observation or what is your opinion on the state of the country in your own observation?
Yeah, in my own observation, as a country, particularly Kenya, we are coming from a very interesting moment, especially politically. As our viewers, as you may be aware, that about a year ago, we lost the biggest engine of politics in this country and the source of hope. This is the former Prime Minister, may God rest his soul in peace, Raila. And so much around Kenya revolved around him. So with his departure, a lot of people and the country at large went into some sort of despair. But where we are now, we are starting to see that people are starting to realize that things can still be picked up. So where the country is, I personally think I'm seeing a ray of hope. I'm starting to see optimism. I was speaking with a doctor friend the other day who was telling me something very interesting.
Yes.
That when Mzee left, he was talking to his spouse and they were saying, is there even any reason to go and vote?
Okay,
but he was saying that as it moves closer, there's a ray of hope that there's a reason to still be Kenyan and act Kenyan. So the country is optimistic where we are.
Now, talking of Raila Amolo Odinga, because since his departure, there are so many incidences that we've witnessed, especially we would say we might talk about violence and looking at even the constitution, violation of human rights. We've seen them, and we've never seen many people coming out, especially to condemn such like issues. Does it mean that the people were more on Raila to speak on their behalf than themselves to speak on what is happening? That Raila was like a mouthpiece for everyone, because like some of these are happening, but even if people speak about them, they're not taken with a lot of seriousness.
Yeah, for sure, there's a vacuum in the country. I was just thinking through
Yeah.
even before a few days ago, and you realize even the ordinary, we call them the human rights,
Mm.
wanaharakati wa haki za wanadamu. You would even realize that I think we are only left probably with one gentleman who occasionally shows up, even when we
Yeah.
are people being shot.
Yeah.
You could haki, you could see him going around. I think Kenya as a people, we just didn't call Raila Baba for no reason. We had delegated to him our lives.
Yeah.
And for sure, we knew that he'll be there to speak for you, especially the very oppressed. So it's true that there's been a bit of a sense of vacuum. It's true there are a lot of things that are now going on and they are not brought to the fore.
Yeah.
The other day I was surprised. A friend of mine on social media posted the way the healthcare system in the country is working. There are no strikes. And I
Mm-hmm.
immediately called him and told him, are you aware almost half the country,
Mm-hmm.
uh, healthcare workers are on strike, clinical officers,
Officers.
nurses.
Mm.
So I think there is even the fear of people speaking.
Mm-hmm.
If you something happens to you,
Yeah.
who will come to your rescue?
Oh, yeah, that fear.
Yes, there's that
You know,
fear.
talking about the health sector, and this is a debate that has been going on. And even if you look at the previous government, I tend to believe nobody has gotten it right. And now we are in the administration of President William Ruto, with the new kid on the block, that is Shah. That so many questions has have been raised about Shah, whereby we are seeing um, uh, two versions of responses. There's those who are saying that Shah is working, and there's also those who are saying it is not functioning. And even today, the president had this summit of the Shah, where majority of delegates, especially when they exchange those, they give their opinion, they tend to give it positively. But on the other side, especially those who are living below the poverty line, poverty line, they would give you a different answer. Where is the disconnect? Maybe. Why are we not speaking? Why are we not speaking the same language?
Yeah, I'm struggling to understand for sure what is happening in Nairobi for the last 2 days, yesterday and today.
Mhm.
I know the thing is christened and it's called as a conference, something like that. But
Mhm.
if you look at the characters and the outlook and the make of the event,
Yeah.
you would expect if it is a health forum conference,
Mhm.
the people should speaking then largely should be the professionals or the stakeholders in that.
Mhm.
But the truth be told, this appears as a government PR
Mhm.
event, and I won't be surprised. I'm not surprised when you hear one side of the discussion that is just the positive side of things.
Mhm.
Every coin has two sides,
Yeah.
standard, and there's a third side. So
Mhm.
it's very unfair. I think we are being paraded to the head side of the tail.
Mhm.
But sure, for sure, it has a tail
Mhm.
beyond the head.
Yeah.
And the tail are there are some concerning issues that
Mhm.
I think we need to discuss as a nation.
Yeah.
There are also a bit of successes in SHA
Mhm.
that we should also not blame the president or the people of Kenya should not be so skeptical.
mhm.
when we mention or he mentions a few of the successes.
Yeah,
But I think what is happening in Nairobi, in a nutshell, in my view, that is a government-sponsored advertisement as
yeah,
opposed
true.
to a conference.
Do you think that sometimes from what you're saying, whereby you feel like even the delegates, they might have been cherry picked to speak good about the government? Because I even saw Seth Panyako today was speaking of Shah working, but in the previous videos, if you have an opportunity to watch, he was the big person who was criticizing the Shah. Why can't we agree as a nation that okay, there are benefits of Shah, and there are those gray areas that to be need to be ironed out, and all the stakeholders and the issues that are raising are being considered instead of maybe just listening to one side. Do you think that one can happen with the current government of the day, whereby accommodating views, especially those are negative or those do not praise the Shah, and they can work on them?
Actually, Kenya is a growing democracy. We are barely 50 years there about old, and in a growing democracy, there are a number of things.
Mhm.
And one of the things that is there, it's almost impossible to get people to agree
Yeah.
on one thing. But one thing that is very certain, facts don't lie.
Mhm.
Figures, you can give explanations over the figures, but you can't change them. And more fundamentally, what Kenyans should understand, what people that are listening and following this event should be able to understand, that
Yeah.
this event is not coming just from the blues.
Mm.
This event is a reaction to the feedback, the negative feedback that Kenyans have given. And Kenyans are very vocal on social media. Kenyans
Yeah.
are on TikTok, Facebook. They have given their views, the raw feeling from the ground. And I think
Hmm.
the government to try and do damage control. This is why they are doing this. Uh, and it will be very difficult to agree.
Yeah.
Uh, if as long as it's being managed as a political event, I wish
Mhm.
it was left to be a purely professional event.
And maybe talking about the political event, a similar situation we saw when the president was launching Beyond 2030, and majority of the people who spoke, or the majority of people who were invited, were those who are sharing the vision of the president. We did not see those who have dissenting views, especially the president, and it was dubbed as the public participation. How can it be public participation if those who do not agree with you on your views they're not invited? What
Yeah, of
would be
course,
the difference?
there's been saying that they were invited and they never showed up, but that
Oh,
is just a saying. But fundamentally, if you want to understand how this government of the day works, this government of the day is not friendly to dissenting opinion. And
mm,
if you have a different view, you are
yeah.
not accommodated, and this is why we ended up to with I think it's if the president, the current president, loses the election, the
Mhm,
biggest blunder that he will look back to and regret is having chased away and impeached his deputy, whoever they were with him on the ballot.
mhm,
Uhuru had been there as the fourth president of Kenya, and I'm sure, like any other boss, he must have had issues that he had to stomach. He was
mhm.
getting from his junior, then
Yeah.
who is the current president. So I
Yeah.
think this government does not really want to listen to very honest feedback,
Mhm,
and therefore it is events will be they will appear to have been choreographed. I remember the other day in one of the events of this Nyota, there's a young girl, the deputy president, Professor Kindiki, was talking to her on live media. The girl was supposed to say she has received 22K, but the truth is on her phone she was reading 19,000. So, so
yeah.
I think I think there's a bit of script writing,
Yeah.
and that is politics, but we simply think that it's being overdone.
Being overdone.
Yes.
But maybe somebody would also argue that there is that people who just do not like this the administration of the day, that anytime they come up with maybe good idea or doing something that is helpful to the Kenyan citizen, they gang against it and paint it as negative, that it's just like a natural hate towards the administration of President William Ruto. Would those who are arguing like that, would we say that those are true reflection of some people, that there are those who do not like President William Ruto naturally?
Yeah, I honestly agree. There are also just people who, without a reason and
Hmm.
justifiably, do not like the president, they do not like the government, they do not like anything the government does.
Yeah.
And there's a local saying where I come from that
Hmm.
people love success, but they don't have success, don't love successful people.
Yeah.
And by all standards, the current president in this country is an overachiever, from a botanist to leading this country from a
Mm.
young age. He hasn't lost any elections.
Mm.
He's come up against the big wigs of this country. He flawed them out. So there are those people that will just hate him for the
Mm.
successful person that he is.
Yeah.
Uh, but again, fundamentally, I think the government of the day
Yeah.
misses the opportunity to listen to the people at the
Mm.
right time.
The
And
right.
you'd look at it right away from the point of the finance bill chaos. All
Mm.
indications were clear that
Mm.
people are saying, the citizens are saying something different.
Mm.
Today, when we say that the government is introducing new things and good things and the people oppose, let's talk, for example, about education.
Yeah.
When the president and his team came up with this funny kind of funding, we
Funding
were
model.
very clear. Funding model for university, we were very clear, and some of us said this thing is going to flop. And
Mm.
surely, under 2 years, it has flopped. It needs to be changed. We are saying that SHA
Yeah.
is not 100% wrong, but there are things that need to be
Be
fixed. For
fixed.
example, myself, I strongly believe that SHA is not sustainable, because if you look at the figures, we
Mm.
have a tendency as a country, those proponents of SHA have a tendency to magnify the metrics that do not speak the reality. They'll tell you that
Mm.
32 million people have been registered.
Registered.
That is
Yes.
fine.
Hmm.
How many of these 32 million people, if they show up to a hospital, they will be able to be treated? When you
Mm.
have 80 something percent of them, about 84% of the population that
Mm.
is being said to have been registered,
Yeah.
not contributing anything, inactive. So, to
Mm.
cut the long story short, I think some sentiments coming from Kenyans are
Mm.
very genuine.
Mm.
Someone needs to listen to.
Now, when you look at the health sector, especially you compare it maybe with maybe some of the research, or you benchmark with some of these developed countries, you find that they run it quite much differently. For instance, I've had an opportunity to interact with the health, especially to interact with the health sector of United States, especially whereby we have a Medicare, or we call it Obamacare, and this Obamacare, it is an optional for citizens, and other people have been given an opportunity, especially to buy or purchase their health insurance, depending on where you work, or depending with amount of the money or the salary you are earning. And this one gives you an opportunity, especially to go to the hospital, or to see a doctor, or sign a doctor that you want. That is one. Secondly, when you look at even the health sector system, you find that in these major countries, you find that the government do not own the hospitals, but these private hospitals, they are being kind of like controlled. They have a law that guides them. Do you think, as we speak, we can reach that level whereby we find that the health sector, especially the first responders like doctors, they have um, their own employer, whereby if there's a strike, because only one hospital can strike and the others continue working. Do you see us going there with even the plan that President William Ruto talking about people going to Singapore? Do you see us going that direction?
Certainly, Professor, I think it's Professor Hoki, or I don't remember his name. He was
Alisema
here the
bado.
other day. He was here the other day and he told us straight in our faces that we are not going anywhere in Singapore in the next 50 years. So
Yeah.
I think to speak to Singapore,
Mhm.
my brother, we are not going to Singapore.
Mhm.
But also talking about what you asked, the healthcare system, of course, I've traveled a bit, and in one of the travels I felt sick, and I've had to experience what uh, out there people do. I've fallen sick in Tanzania here. I've fallen sick in Denmark. So I also don't think that the American healthcare is the best example on the planet.
Mhm.
But speaking on Medicare and Medicaid, I
Mhm.
think when I saw SHA at the first moment, I
Mhm.
think I was excited.
Yeah.
It looked to me like we were trying to benchmark and borrow from the best players in the market.
Mhm.
And Shine itself is split in three
Mhm.
levels. There is that primary healthcare fund, then there is whatever we call SHIF, previously NHIF, and then we have another one called emergency and chronic cases.
Mhm.
And to be very honest, I think the middle part of it,
Mhm.
SHIF, which was previously NHIF,
Mhm.
it appears to be working because that targets people like us who are able to pay. The employers have paid. You will not go
Yeah.
in a hospital and you are told that you can't be treated
Can't be treated.
because,
Yes.
yes, but that is not supposed to be the essence of universal healthcare. They
Healthcare.
will
Yeah.
still have left me in my private provision, private insurance.
Mhm.
So I think to speak to if we will get there where these other nations are, my answer is no,
Okay.
because this fund as is designed today,
Mhm.
it is in deficits. It's not able to sustain itself. So how
Yeah.
would it take care of that poor person? I know Medicare in the US, 65 plus, you would be funded by the government absolutely free. And
Mm.
the lower income, they also have their own. But
Yeah.
the scheme should be performing, or the scheme should be heavily funded by the government. We are in a situation where our government underfunds healthcare,
Mhm.
health is underfunded, the scheme is not performing. That's not a recipe for growth to reach it first world level of healthcare.
And you talked about the clinical officers that have been on strike for almost like a month. And this one also talks about the healthcare system, because there are Kenyans out there who go to visit this hospital. They're not getting the services that they need, even though they've registered for SHA. So it tells you that, especially when it comes to health, especially in Kenya, that health sector, there's a lot that need to be done. There's a lot needs to be done in terms of even the resource from the doctors, the first responders themselves, even their payment. Because, like, I think it is all round for the system to work. All this, the roots should
Yeah,
be
exactly.
should be supplied with water.
Yeah, it's the system doesn't work in isolation.
Yeah.
A country, you cannot, you cannot behave that you are going to implement a very successful education system
Yeah.
when your agriculture food production is not working.
Mm.
When will these students sit in class when they
Mm.
are hungry? So a system has to be a system wide, a
Mm.
system approach.
Mm.
And I'm happy that I think I may have seen some sound bites today that the president was acknowledging that one of the biggest driver of success of the universal health care is the workforce,
Mhm.
and something needs to be done. certainly, we were having a discussion with a colleague in the office and
Mm.
says even if SHA is able to pay for you 2 billion and you
Mm.
walk in a hospital, there's no doctor,
Yeah.
the entire system has flopped. You
Yes.
will not be able to be attended to,
Mm.
even though you have the money.
Yeah.
SHA is willing to pay for you. So I think we need to look at it from a systems point of view.
Mm-hmm.
I almost thought when we came up with this community health providers, the ones that walk around with Panadol and aspirin,
Mm.
we were almost getting it from the entire chain from the start to
Mm.
the end.
Yeah.
But it appears we are not a system yet.
Mm.
More other things need to be done.
Mhm. Oh,
Infrastructure
yeah.
needs to be built. You remember that SHA has levels of hospitals. Some
Mm.
of those low level hospitals, even if you are sick and you are told if you go in those ones, and that is
Yeah.
how SHA operates, and this is how it is shortchanging Kenyans.
Mm.
You are told that in this level of a hospital, you will be treated free, but if you go in this level without referral, you will pay out of the pocket.
Pocket. Yeah.
As a person, when you are sick, the first instinct is you want the best medical care. You
Care.
cannot go and start and chance with a nearby dispensary that
Mm.
only the watchman stays at the gate. Once you are sick, he will now call the nurse.
The nurse. Yeah.
Yes.
And maybe something also, especially about the system, healthcare system, is about. I would talk about the communication, especially that we get from the officers that are employed by the government. It is quite sad, especially to find that the president take an opportunity to be in a summit to explain about SHA where there's a ministry. You know, how does what picture does it give you? Because like, which means the department should be in a position to explain everything, but it takes the head of state to start having this town hall meetings to discuss about SHA after 4 years. What does that one speak about?
Yeah. The president himself, a few years ago, he told us he hired incompetent people. He told us
Yeah.
that. And is it true that these people are incompetent or
Mm,
they have been made to be incompetent
mm,
deliberately or
yeah.
they are not? I,
Mm,
I think one thing that we have to agree
yeah.
that it is very wrong
Hmm.
for the president to come and be explaining the things he's explaining to us with all the pain he's going through. But we must also say that it's very right for him to do that because he signed up for a job with
Yeah.
Kenyans. We didn't
Yeah.
sign up for a job with, say, probably Masi Mwangange or Director Okoth. We didn't. It is the president that we have a social contract with him that he will provide proper health care for the citizens of this country. But also, I was listening when you asked, I was smiling because the former CBK
Mm,
governor the other day came out guns blazing and said that the president needs to be all over.
yeah.
Uh, and I think if he, in the unlikely event,
Hmm.
he happens to go into his second term,
Yeah.
if I was his advisor, one of the
Hmm.
things I will let him,
Hmm.
Mkubwa, you have achieved every success that can be achieved in this
Yeah.
country.
Hmm.
From selling chicken to making decisions in State House, I
Yeah.
think sit back,
And
let your technocrats and the people work.
work. Yeah. All right.
Yes,
All right. And a point whereby even the president make a call to the current hospital CEO, and if is indeed it is working, it is working. I think like the people
yes,
that president has really employed are failing the president. By the way, I'm not saying that I'm supporting the president, but like in organization, the main
yes,
reason why you have a CS for a particular department is that the CS or that department will have the opportunity to explain what the president is explaining. It doesn't take the head of state to come and explain and even make those calls to confirm whether it is working or not. you know and the worst part of it, and they were there clapping even after the president making those calls. So I think like what you said earlier, that the incompetency, especially that president said about some of the people that is employed, is really playing out to the public. Okay, let's jump into let's come to issue of Goonism in this country. We know it is not new, but we are seeing the rise of Goonism, especially, and we are kind of like normalizing it. And it has become the order of the day. We don't see any action being taken, and we are just okay with it. Maybe, what is your take, and how can Kenyans especially stop this? Will Kenyans be in a position to stop Goonism, especially and political violence?
Yeah, I'm very happy that you have picked up that this is not new.
Yeah,
Goonism and political Goonism, particularly, is not new.
yeah.
And I think it should also not surprise Kenyans that Goonism is thriving in the era of the current regime. And
Mm-hmm.
I think where I sit, this is expected.
Mm-hmm.
We hope, as honest, genuine citizens of this country, that something will be done.
Mm-hmm.
But Goonism in Kenyan politics was introduced by the group that was called YK92.
Mm-hmm.
That is where the blueprint of Goonism in politics in this country was written from.
Mm-hmm.
Politics was commercialized using the young people, and
Mm-hmm.
violence was commercialized.
Yeah.
And so I think we have come a long way. Kibaki did his bit to try and stop this kind of things, and may God rest his soul in peace. And
Mm-hmm.
we are happy that he did whatever he did. But I think, to answer your question, whether citizens can stop this,
Mm-hmm.
where I sit, for you to get a right answer to that, you must first of all realize and look deeper at what drives Goonism. And if you look at what drives Goonism, the answer is certainly that ordinary Kenyan citizens will not stop this Goonism. In fact, as we move to 2027
Seven.
elections,
Mm-hmm.
chances are, if I was to advise Kenyans, I would tell them, you have not seen the worst yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe just before we leave, just to touch on why I say, if you look at the drivers of Goonism, Kenyans cannot stop. Goonism is not an event in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Goonism is an economic activity. It
You
has
call
an
it.
entire, it's an economic activity. These boys are paid. They are not just going there for free.
Good revenue.
Yes. In fact, it's a very proper
Mm-hmm.
supply chain
Mm-hmm.
that even the politicians, the leaders, know where to get these goons. It's like there's a market of goons in this country, that there is, there is a goons in this end, there are some goons in this end. They are going with this politician, tomorrow they are going with this politician. It's a commercialized activity. And why is it commercialized? This country, in one single year, it churns out of the universities and colleges
Yeah.
about 1 million young people, and only 100,000 or about thereabout can be able to get employment. What happens to the 900,000 that are left hanging around?
Mm-hmm.
So for us to stop Goonism,
Mm-hmm.
we must first of all fix the problem of unemployment in this country.
So let me say that let's just look at it, fixing unemployment, and the people who should enact those laws that should bring in favorable conditions, especially even for the investors to come. They're the people in the forefront, especially hiring these goons and being financiers. Then how will that one work? For instance, they want to go for a meeting. They rather procure goons rather than going to pay the police officers, because like sometimes you can hire police officers to go and protect you when you're going to your event. That is apart from the ones that being provided for. You can at least have some, but get them. But now the people are no, the leaders are not even going for the police officers. They are going for the goons.
I think when we bring in the idea of the police, then I wanted to throw in spanner in the works and throw in another thing. It's not just about hiring the police. By the way, in this country, to hire a policeman for escort it's very cheap. It's very affordable.
Affordable.
Majority of Kenyans can afford that.
Mm, mm.
Eh, but the problem is this: when it comes in the political circle, it's not just about the police, it's the mistrust the
Mm,
political players have against the government and the government's behavior against the opposing teams,
mm,
the teams that do not sing their choir. And
mm.
that is why now you get a politician being more comfortable
Yeah,
around a goon than his government assigned bodyguard.
bodyguard.
So I think we have a lot to fix apart from just bringing in the police connotation. That is
Mhm,
one thing. Is
mm,
this police that have been given,
mm.
do I trust this police? Do I trust the systems that have given me?
Yeah,
Or I'm starting to think that this policeman could be a spy
yeah.
on me, how I'm doing my politics. So it's a trust issue, and the government should make political players, politicians, aspirants,
Mm,
to be able to trust it. It's a fundamental constitutional obligation for
mm,
this government to provide security
mm.
in those events.
Now, before we continue, there's a word that you've used, the trust, the
Yes.
trustability, especially in us as a country, is 100%. You find that we don't trust even the government themselves because I just want to give you or maybe paint a picture at IEBC. We've always seen when these commissioners are being vetted, especially to run that office. You find that all the political players tend to say that, oh, so and so is working with so and so. That trust, that trust, whereby we do not trust ourselves. Where did we miss the point whereby we cannot trust our Kenyans, especially with the jobs that they're being given to perform for Kenyans? That when you're given the job, we have to label you like you. This pan is going to work for so and so. Even like right now in IEBC, you will get these politicians singling out one member of IBC that you, this is so and so kibaraka wa nani na nani na huyu alikuwa kibaraka wa nani na nani. Where did we go wrong in such a way that we don't trust even ourselves and the Kenyans themselves who are given the mandate by the constitution to serve us?
I think trust issues in this country at a very corporate and a national level,
Yeah.
I think we must say that where we got it wrong is as a people, as a country,
Mm,
we have never been able to manage our interests in processes and issues that we are involved in. From a
mm,
corporate point of view, there is something we call conflict of interest management. It is true, you
mm,
may have an interest in something,
mm,
but are you able to manage it? As a people, we have failed to manage it from
mm,
zero. How do
mm,
you expect
mm,
in a country where people even they are recruiting in their own small office, when a mama is recruiting a maid,
eh,
there's interests that must play at that level. That
mm,
is the Kenyan lifestyle of doing things. How
yeah.
do you expect them now to sit in in their boardrooms, in their table, and now believe that this IBC guy has
eh,
been recruited without someone pushing for him? So
mm,
I think it's a fabric. We have gotten it totally wrong.
mm,
We sometimes back I sat in some discussion,
yeah.
and you see in this world, first world
Yeah.
countries, even if someone wants to refer to you a candidate for a job,
Mm,
they will refer openly without hiding. But
yeah.
here
Mm,
we have this tendency, people hide like they are not referring to you someone.
mhm,
So it is in our fabric. We
mm,
got it very wrong.
mhm,
And I think if I was part of this IBC,
mm,
the thing that we would be working on the most is to
mm,
try and win back the confidence and the trust of Kenyans, because
mm.
The previous IBC, we saw it being split into two, some
Two
going
yes.
this side, some this side. So we
Mm.
have the evidence that in the Kenyan IBC, there are usually people who are on this side
Side,
and this
yes.
side.
Mm.
Yes.
Who are
So
rooting for their masters, you know.
yes, yes. So I think we have a long way to go.
Mm.
Where we lost it, we
Mm.
lose it right away from how do you get a school?
Yeah.
You have to call some mkubwa somewhere in education department for you to be able to get a school.
Even ama ukitaka hata kupita line pale umeenda Huduma Center unataka kupita line unapigia,
Eh,
you call a friend,
mkubwa uko ndani
unajua mtu, mwenye ako Huduma namba hapa Kisumu, bwana nisaidie bwana, niko kwa line. Okay,
Yes.
and that's
So
where it starts.
yeah. So it is not just about IBC. The way Kenyans we live our lives,
Mm.
we just lost totally the issues of trust, the issues of trusting processes.
Mm.
That if we follow this process,
Yeah.
it will give us the intended outcome. We
And,
start with the outcome, and
uh,
then we want to engineer the process to give us that outcome.
and especially this happens especially when you are buying land. You know, there's some process that you find people keep on skipping, and so that I want something to go very, you know, you even don't want to go through land board. Then at the end of the day, you find that
Yes.
umekoniwa. And
Yes.
it's the spirit that is a Kenyan spirit. I don't know where we got it from, but it's something that is in us, a situation whereby we look at the end. We first of all we start from the end, tukirudi nyuma.
Yes.
Okay, I hope we'll fix it. Now let's come to this issue of Goonism and with what recently happened in Homa Bay, especially to Linda Wananchi. You find both leaders, especially the ones from Homa Bay, are saying that those goons were not their goons. You know, one thing that we agree that they were goons, but that were not their goons. To an extent, an MP said that those goons, they saw Rigathi Gachagua bodyguard was there. They talk about money that was sent to hire these goons. And maybe if you look at it in a nutshell, where are we headed, especially when we are going to election, whereby we are going to have areas that this is an area that will be uh, a stronghold for 2 term. This is an area that is going to be stronghold for 1 term. Where are we headed? Does it mean that these areas are going to be demarcated such that if you're a 1 term, you're not supposed to campaign in those areas? If you're a 2 term, you're not supposed to campaign in those areas? From that's what happened.
I must, and thanks for bringing this up. I must first of all take an opportunity and just say that whatever happened in Homa Bay, it's very regrettable.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to say this. It is in public domain that I'm a proponent of Linda Mwananchi.
Yeah.
I must also just take this opportunity and say to our colleagues that were harassed, intimidated, some of them beaten, cut with the pangas, that poleni sana. This was very unfortunate, and it should be condemned in the strongest words possible. And the other thing that I must also say, just before I answer your question, is I think if there is one thing that is indicative of how this regime of the day is going to operate, it is in Homa Bay. We have seen a blueprint of what is going to happen in 2027 if something is not done and this is stopped.
Yeah.
What we agree on, as you say, that these were goons, straight. But goons are not starting in Homa Bay. We saw in Nairobi the other day when they were maandamano, and Daktari Matiang'i amesema, what kind of a country is this where goons and police work together? So we have seen it, and I think it's very unfortunate. What we saw in Homa Bay was not just an act of goonism, it was an act of actually murdering democracy. Because democracy in its simplest definition is that the majority should have their way, but the minority should have their say.
Yeah.
So if you can't allow people to have their say, then we do not have democracy. And finally, my thought process on that, There is something we call in psychology that the law of the opposites, that people say exactly this when they mean the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I think the National Commission of Cohesion should really come up, and by now they should have interrogated the leaders of Homa Bay, Madam Gladys Wanga and Kaluma, because in the build up to this, they
Yeah.
were very clear in the message they were sending. You can see them today, they are trying to do a crusader to
Mm-hmm.
try and sanitize what they were saying. But
Mm-hmm.
this was a setup
Mm-hmm.
that I think it needs to stop, and it is scary as we move into the election, simply because when a government or a politician sees that he's going to lose,
Yeah.
one of the things that trick that they have used over the time is to try and suppress the
Mm-hmm.
voter turnout. And
Mm-hmm.
I think this is just a blueprint of trying to draw
Mm-hmm.
on how the voters will be suppressed not to come out and vote.
But who benefits? For instance, let's look back at what happened in Olkalau the other time. The other day, I was just watching the documentary that was done by NTV. The people who suffered the most were the residents of Olkalau. They've buried their children, their sons over there. The mothers are now without their sons. They're taking care of grandchildren. If you look at what happened in Homa Bay, the people who suffered most were the residents of Homa Bay. So at the end of the day, who benefits?
At the end of the day, I think, and this is where Kenyans are letting this country down,
Mm,
because these goons, we know them. The other day, when our brother from Western Kenya, Senator Osotsi, the incoming governor of Vihiga,
yeah.
was roughed up in Kisumu here, it did not take an hour. The images of these people were being circulated by ordinary Kenyans on social media. So we know who the goons are. Kenyans know who the goons are. Kenyans know where the goons were being assembled.
Mhm,
And these goons have not come from Uganda. These goons are also Kenyans.
mm,
So they should be able to have some consciousness of a country in themselves,
mhm,
because at the end of the day,
yeah.
the beneficiary
Mhm,
is not the goon himself, because
mhm,
some of these goons eventually, for the government of the day to try and sanitize itself, one or two will find themselves in a cell for 2, 3, 4 days. Number two, the the host people
mm,
where the goons are playing their trade, they suffer the most. In
mm,
Homa Bay, businesses were closed. People who are used to making some 2,000, they have sold omena or
mm,
they have sold ngege. They did not sell that day because the businesses were closed.
yeah.
Who are the beneficiaries? The
Mm,
beneficiaries are the financiers. And
oh,
unfortunately, in this case, they are politicians.
mm. And I always say this at the end of the day, and I like what Mark Nyamita, the member of Uriri constituency, say that when he earns the salary, the first person to enjoy the salary is his family members. He will call the wife, he will call the sons, and you will be the last person that he will call. And before you see his son on those streets, you should just get worried. And there's this trend that has always happened, and I think you've observed it. Like immediately after this violence happens and the people lose their lives, you find that the money that the same politician contribute to give you a dissenting, a befitting send off, you are sent millions of shillings are sent. Sometimes, if you're lucky enough, they can build for you a house. So you look at the expenses that they take to give you that send off, compared to what they give you to do your Goonism. You find that send off is expensive than what you're giving you to get. So I don't know how they measure it. So you are valued. Your value is higher at death, but ukiwa uhai, maisha
No
yako
one values you.
inakufa. Yeah, because like you see that you see what the money that they give even in these funerals for these guys. They buy expensive coffin for them, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is something. Hmm.
Yeah, I saw some documentary the other day. I think it was by Decewele. You see that kind of money these people are being paid. It's roughly about 2K to a maximum of 5,000. And people are, young boys and girls are able to put their lives at risk and go fight these things. But I think there is a breakdown in the family structure. There's a breakdown in the responsibility of adults. I
Yeah.
think it's very responsible as a leader to mobilize someone's son with
Hmm.
pangas to go and cut someone else's sons. But
Yeah.
I also think that we, the people, I've been in funerals that I've seen the family is firm that here
Mm.
we will bury Mzee and then you can do your anything else you have
Anything
later.
later,
So I
yes.
think also as families we have really equated lives, lost lives of our loved ones
Hmm.
with the presence of a politician.
Kishan. Yeah.
When someone comes there, I come with a big vehicle.
Yeah.
We start to see matanga ya fulani ilikuwa mzuri, magari zilikuja kubwa. Kama ni huko kwetu wanasema hata Omaso alikuja na ujue Omaso
Eh,
ndiye anaenda kuwa MP 2027.
27.
So we have equated our lives with some show of things and you have
Mhm.
lost your person. So I agree with you that there's something fundamentally wrong.
Yeah.
Why would you pay me 5K and when I die you have to give me a coffin of 67K?
And like
Look at
they.
what today Wanga was doing in Homa Bay.
Yeah.
She's running around
Yeah.
uh, in not crusades, in rallies,
Hmm.
trying to explain what happened. And I'm sure there are people who are in hospital. She has not visited them, for sure, out of this Goonism Act.
Yeah. Those are our politicians, and sometimes it makes you sad anyway. So and I usually say that as a voter, it is you yourself to decide on the kind of politics that you want to do, because
And
these
the kind of a
politicians.
leader you want to elect.
Yeah, and their interest will always come first.
Yes.
If you see the allegiance that they're saying for their leaders, it means there's something that they are getting, and they give you like a smaller percentage of it, and they enjoy the bigger one. Okay, let's our last discussion. We want to do something to do with the numbers. We are going towards 2027 general election, and we are looking at Western Kenya. And this has been informed by the wave of Edwin Sifuna. Edwin Sifuna visited Western Kenya, and we saw a massive welcome, especially to Edwin Sifuna, especially from Trans Nzoia. He came to Bungoma, then he came again toward Kakamega and the rest of the majority of the counties of Western Kenya. And the reception was massive. Do you see there is a new history that is going to be made, especially in Western Kenya, bearing in mind that Western Kenya has a very unique voting pattern, especially when you look at the counties. They usually vote differently, yeah, and they do not have a voting command. Do you see with the Sifuna, this is going to happen?
Yeah, I'm smiling because for sure I'm a native of Western Kenya. And one
Yes.
thing that I say is that I think this country, if all of us adopted the voting pattern of Western,
Yeah.
where my friend Mwalimu Dida will be able to get votes, just
Yes.
the same way Uhuru Kenyatta will get votes,
Hmm.
I will, Wajakoya is my neighbor. I will not vote him and decide to vote Baba. So
Hmm.
I think the voting pattern of Western,
Hmm.
I know in the political cycle it has been criticized, but if you look at it keenly,
Hmm.
if all the regions of Kenya voted the way Western Kenya votes, that they can't unite behind one person,
Hmm.
this country will solve 98% of its problems because this country's problems comes from the voting pattern. That
Mm.
if I stand today as a presidential candidate,
Yeah.
then you are assured that all my Luo people will follow
Will.
me. So,
Hmm.
but now talking about Sifuna,
Hmm.
there are two things. I would like to look at it from two sides of the coin. That
Yes.
I'm a very worried person.
Mm-hmm.
As a Kenyan who wants change for this country,
Mm-hmm.
I think unless something drastic happens, the best thing for this country is to change this regime.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm worried
Yeah.
that Kenyans are people of emotions and
Mm-hmm.
they forget too quickly
Yeah.
and they don't remember at all or they delay to remember.
Mm-hmm.
The other day, when Daktari Matiang'i came from the US and he declared that he is going to run,
Yeah.
a good number of us were singing. In fact, some of us started to say audacity of hope.
Yeah.
Today, if you do a poll,
Uh,
Matiang'i is likely to beat only Maraga. So I'm very worried about Sifuna
um,
because unless something is really done, that
mm,
the wave in Western is sustained,
mm,
the mobilization at the ground is done,
mm-hmm,
then it's very unlikely that we are going to 2027 with that block 100%
mm.
behind him.
Yeah.
But to say the truth and give credit where it deserves,
Mm-hmm,
I think for a very long time in the Western leadership,
mm-hmm.
we have not seen someone that has excited the passion of the Western people. I was on Sifuna's Western run. I literally was hanging in one of the Prados. I was there with my own Prado.
Mm,
And I saw passionate people who
mm,
left their homes
mm,
with placards Sisi ndio Sifuna.
mm.
I saw women, I saw a group of young girls that had written on their nose, I think they were going to the river.
Yeah.
There is that passion. There
Mm-hmm,
is that, and I think looking at the numbers
mm-hmm,
for Western
mm-hmm,
as it stands,
mm-hmm,
even if William beats Sifuna,
mm-hmm,
or any opposition candidate with the numbers in Western,
mm-hmm,
and he does not beat them by a margin of about 80-20
mm-hmm.
or 70-30, then William is going home. His
Mm-hmm.
path to the presidency, it is in Western,
Mm-hmm.
and he has to beat the opposition and beat them thoroughly with 70-30.
Yes.
Otherwise, even if it is 60-40,
Mm-hmm.
William will win the 60%, but still go home.
Okay. Coming back to Western Kenya, before we look at President William Ruto, since 1963, Western Kenya has not produced a president, but there are quite a number of leaders who have um, um, gone for president seat. That one includes Musalia Mudavadi. We also had Kijana Wamalwa too, also, but they did not win. Then when you come to the deputy president, we had Musalia Mudavadi. He was not elected, but appointed. We have only Kijana Wamalwa, senior, who was elected. Mudi Awori was appointed after the death of Kijana Wamalwa. And this speculation also about Edwin Sifuna coming in, and he will be coming in as a pair if they are paired with one of the united opposition candidate. And uh, there are people who are saying, including Fred Gumo, I listened to one of his interviews, and he said the reason why he's supporting Sifuna, that the Sifuna wave can go with people like Mudavadi Wetangula. Maybe do you see that happening?
Yeah, certainly. And the best thing that can happen in Western is to sweep off this Musalia Mudavadi kind
Mm,
of team, Wetangula.
mm,
They are a big letdown. They are our elders, but they are a big letdown. I wish we could assemble them as the Luya community and ask them where is our 30% that
eh,
William
mm,
promised he would give us when he wins the government. So
yeah.
the Sifunas wave for sure,
Mm,
and there is no magic that needs to be done.
mhm,
The young man just needs to sustain his visits.
Yeah.
He needs to keep going,
Yeah.
and we will sweep this team needs to be swept off. And it's clear, I agree with Gumo
Mm,
that I think it is time that the native place that I come from, there's a saying that says Omilai Weboanga Shinamseldala, loosely translated as the best dancer in Wangaland
mm,
dances on the dance floor once. It's
yeah.
basically saying when your time is done, you should be able to know that my time is done and they should leave. But just to speak about the dynamics of vice presidents and presidents in Kenya,
Mm,
where I sit if I was directly advising the opposition
mm,
leaders in this country,
mm,
it will be very simple. Let's not have a scenario where Western Kenya has two deputy presidents in the ballot. It won't help. It did
mm,
not help Azimio
mm.
in 2022.
Yeah.
If William makes a mistake to take any one of the Western people. I hear they talk about Oparanya, who has
Paranya.
been my MP for all this, as his running mate. The
Mm,
opposition then do not need any brainer. They should just make Sifuna their presidential candidate, and it
mm,
will be a done deal. Or if William really wants and he cares about Western Kenya,
mm.
then he should give Oparanya to run the presidential race. Then he deputizes him.
Okay.
Otherwise, taking him as a deputy, we
Mm,
only need to have Sifuna as the presidential candidate, and
mm.
it will be closed at 6 a.m.
And there's a Salia Mudavadi too is saying that they're supporting President William Ruto come 2032 he will be going for presidency. That the same 2032 Wetangula is being promised deputy president, and now we also see Oparanya. So which means from all those indications, it means that Western Kenya is an integral part, especially in the 2027 general election. So when you look at Musalia Mudavadi telling people that in 2032 he might be running for presidency, does it even motivate the people?
I can tell you the best chance for the Luya community to run for the Western, we call ourselves the people of Murembe, to run
Mm,
for the presidential election in this country. Since
mm,
this country started, there
mm.
is no other better place than 2027.
27. Mm.
If
So
you have any person running for the presidency in 2032
mm,
from Western Kenya, the
mm,
likes of Mudavadi and Musali.
mm.
Mudavadi has run before the presidential elections in this country, and even it is being said that even his own deputy did not vote for him. So
Jeremiah Kioni.
he was much younger. We believed in him. He looked like a safe pair of hands. Today he's an unsafe pair of hands. He has sold the community. I even don't think his own MCA will vote for him.
Actually, did he got 400 and something votes, especially with actually Kakamega. Actually, in Western Kenya, Kakamega gave him like 42% of the total votes, and the Viga gave
Yes,
him like 38. And he got
yes.
400 and something votes. Now, let's come to you because you are also aspiring to run for Butere. Hapa unajua kuna mavigogo wa ODM. What made you to say that, okay, I want to run for this seat in Butere?
Yeah, I think just
Yeah.
to be very clear, people are reading in between the lines so much. I
Yeah.
know there are people that have all the indication that Omaso is running for the Butere seat MP,
Yeah.
which is a very good thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is something that when if you look at my social media account, for example, Facebook, I've always, from a tender age, I've always said that within my heart,
Mm-hmm.
there is a desire to serve my people. So when time comes, I'm going to make it very clear that I'm going for this seat. I think I have what it takes. I think I've been around enough. I can be able to muzzle the numbers that I need. But speaking once, we will cross the bridge when we are there.
Yeah.
But I'm very disappointed with the current leadership in Butere.
Mm-hmm.
Butere is known for one thing, just to speak about one or two things
Yeah.
that within my soul.
Mm.
Butere is known as this this railway terminus town
So
that
yes.
even the Britons, even the British, the colonialists, saw
Mm.
it fit that the railway line should terminate in Butere. And
Mm.
it was not just Butere, it was also Butere
Yeah. Sorry. I've lost Moshimiwa. Okay, thank you so much. Let me take this opportunity to welcome. Okay, I wanted to know more about Butere. Omaso, nimekupoteza. All right, as we wait for this, I'm also organizing
railway
to. Okay, go ahead.
terminating in Butere. Butere, that
Mm.
was
Okay, we lost him. This is Brother Benson Media, and I'm here with Omaso. Actually, Omaso, when I was doing we were doing diploma. I think that was my second diploma in purchase and supply management. We met with him. I think he was doing. I'll ask him. He was doing something like project. I don't know whether we were doing purchase management at Kenya National what Kenya Institute of Management. That's okay. All right.
sorry, I think we got.
Okay. I lost you.
Oh, so I was just saying that
Mm,
a simple thing like this was a big, huge economic hub, a
mm,
trade center that the railway line brought. I think when you have a leadership that you wake up one day and you hear SGR is passing places here and there,
mhm,
and a heritage, a
mm,
terminus heritage place has been left out.
mm,
You, if I was the MP for this country, then that is one thing that I would be making for that constituency. I
mm.
would be making noise about. We need the railway to terminate there
Yeah.
and the history that the
Mm,
colonialists
mm,
had the railway here or let it pass through here. And
mm. So
so
so when you look at it, the entire constituency, because there are these gaps that you might have seen, that these are maybe some of the gaps that can be filled within a period of 6 months. Like these are short-lived challenges that are on a daily basis. Because I was looking at even then, when you look at the connectivity of water in Butere, it's terrible. It is terrible like Butere. And this is a home of Mudia Woribana. Vice President is
this,
there. Oparanya is coming
no,
from there. Yeah.
no, it's better. I think at a national level, from a
Mm,
constituency point of view, we have underperformed because in the recent years, we are this constituency
mm,
that in the 60s, one of our young man called Martin Shukuku, at the age
Shuku.
of 27,
Mm,
was able to together with the old men go to Lancaster and discuss about the first constitution of this country. So I think as an MP of Butere, one of the things you should be proud about is
mm,
what legislations are you pushing
mm,
through parliament. You
mm.
cannot be an MP of Butere with such an heritage from Martin Shkuku
Yeah.
and you are proud of making schools. That's being a foreman to some extent, with all
You
due
are,
respect.
you are a member of parliament is the park chair, but he's holding a very big committee in the parliament.
Can we see the legislations that he has pushed through for the benefit not of just people of Butere, but for this country? Because that is what we are known for. We were
Uh,
able to speak from the young age of this country. We were
uh,
speaking at the national podium as a
uh,
people. So I think to look at it about
mhm.
simple things that need to be done.
Yeah.
Uh, in Butere constituency, can you imagine? There is
Mhm.
no single factory.
Yes, there's no. I was looking at.
No single factory. I think in the first 2, 3 months of my leadership, if I was the MP, I would be having a water plant. That is an easiest one to put there. We
Chimba
bought the
borehole
water, we
bana.
call it Butere tuanze kuuza. I think as a constituency, we have a lot of things we can fix, but
Yeah.
when the right time comes,
Mm-hmm.
we would be able to talk to our citizens, and
Mm-hmm.
we have what it takes.
Mm.
For now, I'm sure they are reading in between the lines. That is
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
We say that in my mother tongue, we say that inula irlango butoro, just to mean that a cow that is going to be the
Mm-hmm.
real bull in the herd, you
Mm-hmm.
can see it when it is still young. So I'm sure the people of Butere are seeing people that can be able to lead them.
Yeah. Okay, but I know you because like when we meet in when we were in Kim, what are you also taking purchase and supply?
At some point, I'm a life scientist, but at some point I developed interest in purchasing and supplies, and that is what I was doing there at that time. And speaking about purchase and supplies, the other problem we have in Butere is that people are complaining their cows are being stolen. So from that background, I, one of the things we will have to work on is
Yeah.
that can every butcherman be able to show us his supply chain of the ng'ombe, the
Imetoka
nyama is
wapi?
selling? You cannot be selling nyama and you are not able to say umetoa wapi.
Umetoa
So
wapi?
some, yeah, it's
Ikuwe na amuri ya serikali iseme kwamba hii ni amuri ya serikali imesema kwamba hata
yes,
nyama is fit for human
yes.
consumption.
Yes, we need to know no, leave alone that. That is just for health. We need to be able to
Eh,
trace
eh,
ulinunua hii ng'ombe kwa
eh,
boma ya mzee
eh,
fulani.
eh,
Umeelewa? And that
eh,
is why it is stolen.
mm,
It is being, but if you can't prove, then there's a
you,
problem. So there are few things that we will be able to fix like immediately.
okay. Omaso, wacha nichukue hii nafasi kukushukuru sana kupata
Asante sana.
nafasi kuzungumza na
Yes.
mimi.
Asante.
Unajua hawa watu wajui kwamba tulikuwa Kisumu pamoja, tukakutana pale college, tukaanza kuhustle,
Yes.
tukaenda
Yes.
makwetu. Mm?
Yes.
So yeah, we were in college with him. So just to let
Yeah,
you
thank you so much. I remember we met in college. I
yeah,
had just come from campus. I was trying to find my way out. So I was looking for extra papers.
and also
And
came from campus. Remember that was
yes,
now I was doing my second one.
yes.
Yeah.
So I think it has been nice to see you again.
Thank you so much.
And we can keep talking.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for the opportunity as well.
I also I'm also very, very grateful to take your time to have a conversation with us, and I really appreciate you. And I know we will continue to have a conversation. And maybe if we find time, I will visit the people of Butere so that we can tell even our viewers what you're talking about. You know, if they are
Karibu,
true, if they are true, or
karibu,
Nile manufactured.
Karibu sana Butere. We are
Yeah.
good people. Actually, I was joking with someone that Wikipedia defines the people, the larger community within Butere as calm people. You
Asante
can
sana.
check after this.
Okay, sawa. Thank you so much, my brother, and may God bless you. And we wish you well
Asante,
as you want to lead the people of Butere. May God bless you in everything that you're going to do. And
asante.
asante sana. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mhm.